So we're sincerely grateful that you are still with us. It's now time for us to get the latest updates from our world of business, and very shortly we'll be filling you in on some of the details from our local front. Now to the details. Some private print media houses in Accra have lashed out at the Electricity Company of Ghana for failing to stick to the load shedding guide. Well, they lamented the unplanned outages as having a toll on their businesses.
The news editor of Daily Guide, Alhaji Gomda, said it spends close to 1,500 Ghana cedis daily to print 30,000 copies of the newspaper, adding that last week 500 cedis was spent to maintain 8 computers, a printer and a scanner which got damaged due to a power surge.
The effect of DUMSO on the cost of running this establishment is enormous. And sometimes you expect that on the 2 you are going to have a light throughout the day. Sometimes midway the light goes off. I think eventually maybe management would have to decide on certain options.
The crusading guide, we were told, sometimes has to be printed at other press houses at an additional cost.
Sometimes when the light goes off, that means you have to off the aircon and use the fan, and then it becomes very hectic and tiring. You go home very stressed out. If they are saying that the light off is coming off at 6 o'clock, then it should be 6 o'clock. If it's going to be 12 hours, then it should be 12 hours. If it's going to be more than 12 hours, they should let us know.
Quite an unfortunate incident there for those in private business. But we'll look at other developments on our local business front, and they have a simple responsibility, yet they are threats to their lives. Now, this time, 10 personnel of the Forest Protection Agency lost their lives last year in line of duty. Well, their death was blamed on inadequate logistics and increased encroachment on forest reserves.
Rapid Response Unit of the Forestry Commission was constituted in 2012 to combat encroachment and destruction of forest reserves. The unit, with 14 teams spread across the country, has only 8 vehicles for its operations and lacks other logistics, making them vulnerable to attacks from encroachers.
We lost some in our wildlife protected areas. We also lost those protecting our forests. So last year alone, we lost about 10 for someone doing or performing his official duty, sacrifice for the nation. Even their life is something that is priceless, and we should do our best to make sure that we reduce or eliminate this kind of ridiculous behavior of the citizenry against people performing their official duties.
In a bid to reverse this and make the unit operate more effectively, the Commission has procured 6 customized Toyota Land Cruiser vehicles valued at 1 million cedis from its internally generated fund.
Over the past years, we received some support from donor agencies, including DFID, including GTZ, including Danida. So this is one of the first times that we've tried to strategize through our internally generated funds to provide these logistics, which is very expensive. Now, when you get a staff into the forest gate, you need to provide them with the necessary ammunition, the armory that they will require to battle these offenders.
Commanding Officer of the Rapid Response Unit, Lori Canton, welcomed the initiative.
So even with the old ones or vehicles, they are quite old and sometimes they break down. So we are highly impressed and relieved and thankful to management for giving us this opportunity, and that will enhance our work in a very significant way. My boys will be very motivated to work in the field.
Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Samuel Afaridate, called for a concerted effort in fighting environmental degradation.
All right, some forestry business there. We'll quickly move on to the world market and get prices from our commodities markets. But just before we switch to those commodities prices, so now have you been following the war on petroleum pricing within these times? Now, the drop in crude oil prices on the world market, could it be as a result of major economies targeting the Russian economy for the supply of crude oil onto the market? Or have we considered the job cuts in and around this time? Well, quite recently, there's been an announcement from Tullow Oil that they intend job cuts, and all is as a result of the price slump on the global market. We'll quickly switch to the screens and find out the prices of commodities on the market, with a lot of emphasis on crude oil in and around this time. So just before we look at all the others, crude oil, after seeing a marginal up some few weeks back, it's again dropped to $53.44 a barrel on the international market. Just within the early part of today, seeing a slump of $1.23. Maybe probably later in the day, it is expected that as stockpiles from across the world increase, we might be seeing a further decline of the pricing. Indeed, some analysts have predicted that close of the year we could get crude oil drop as much as between $20 and $30, but that is dependent if Saudi Arabia will still continually supply the world market and other economies also inject stockpiles onto the world market. Now you should remember that anytime there is that high demand on the market, we see the price soaring. But of course, if there's enough on the market, then the demand and supply basis play in, and then you will have the prices seeing a drop on the world market. Gold, the precious metal, is equally not doing too well on the market. $1,153.87 an ounce on the international market. Marginal drop of 94 cents in and around this morning. Indeed, cocoa, Ghana's major cocoa products on the market, equally suffers the blow as commodities continually drop. $2,788 a ton, a drop of $3 in the early part of the day from Bloomberg commodities prices, and that's how we would want to round it up on the commodities market.